Hey for faces, it is KlaireeBerry here again, taking a bath. Just wanted to talk with you guys today about my thoughts on nutrition today. As usual, I just got back from the gym. I did a mile at home with the dog, mostly running, and then I went to the gym and did my usual, which is a half an hour of elliptical, go to the steam room, sweat it out for 5 or 10 minutes, back to hit the treadmill. Usually I do walking, lots of hills, lots of incline, and then kind of go to running. My running today was really minimal, but that's kind of my workout in case you were wondering. Now, what I want to talk to you guys today about is this our taste buds. Okay. First of all, we need to remember that taste is subjective, okay? Not everybody tastes the same way. Not everybody wants the same foods as you. When you go to different cultures and they eat things like chocolate bars or raisins or really, they're like, what is this? We don't like this, And I just want to say that eating meat and the umami meat taste is actually none of the tastes that we have are normal, natural, inherent tastes except for sweet. Breast milk is sweet. What every kid wants, what every baby wants as their first baby food is fruit because they love sweet food. So, of course, there's going to be some variations and different, taste within that. But a lot of it, again, has to do with what you're given. If you're given a certain type of food when you're young, you're probably going to like that food more as you get older. And really, that's kind of the whole concept behind this video. People are so, they form an identity. They use these labels to label themselves. They use ideas and their favorites to define themselves. And I just want to say, I've touched on this before, you guys, every one of us is deeper than that. We're bigger and better than that. We're more mysterious and wondrous than that. We cannot be, we label ourselves and try to, label this label, that label, I'm this way, I'm that way. Well, are you? Is that really the brass tacks of who you are as a person? Could you live without that? People say all the time, and I said it too. I couldn't live without that. I couldn't go vegan because of this. My things were eggs and yogurt and crab. Those are my 3 things I would never go vegan for. And a lot of it, like eggs, I think it was less taste and more just like easy cooking for the kids. But either way, it can change. I just want you to know that. If you're a person who's trying to go vegan, person who is going vegan, person who's just trying to be healthy, just know that if I can tell you literally anything to be healthy, I think it would be this. Because I think that nutrition, it's just so important. It's so important. Nutrition's 80 to 90%, people say, at least 70 to 90%. And the rest of it is working out. And I'm noticing this myself. I'm really big on, let's set out a plan. Let's make a list. Let's set out a plan, and we're going to have this food on this day. We're going to have this food on this day. Oh, this meal's great. I learned how to cook that. I really love this meal. And it's like, okay, as I'm going through my budget and trying to work it out, it's difficult to try to say, hey, I'm going to make this every single day. And I finally think this is my year to really kind of give that up. And I feel like it's going to help me in so many ways, because right now my food expenditures are really high. I'm spending a lot of time in the kitchen. Goodness, I wondered how long that was going to stay. Spending a lot of time, in the kitchen, cleaning up, and it's just, I don't want to spend my life doing that, And also, I love showing the boys really easy things to make. And I'm just a simple person, so I really like simple things. And so my food, along with these, things I just mentioned, my food taste and my ideas on what is good food, what is healthy food, what is tasty food has changed over the past 5 years. And I've gotten into the mindset somewhat that really simple food is better. Myself, I still eat Gardein chicken every once in a while, still eat Daiya mac and cheese every once in a while. And it's like, okay, these may not be the best foods for me, but I'm not eating them every day, and, they're still simple and easy and relatively inexpensive. So that's great. But even now, as I taste them, my tastes are changing, and I'm like, oh, this is not as good as it used to be. When you stop eating something, you won't want it as much. When you eat more of something, you're going to want it. And I've talked about why before, but I'll go over it again real quick because it's simple. Mainly, it has to do with your enzymes in your body when you have, let's say when you drink a beer or when you eat a certain type of food. Certain enzymes deal with those substances. And so when you have more of those substances and when you eat more of those substances, you get more of that kind of bacteria, and then therefore that's what your body is going to actually crave, because your body works so closely with these enzymes, and you're gonna want those foods that you're eating a lot of. So if you're raised from birth to eat dairy, meat, eggs, and everything at like every meal, then of course you're gonna think that's what you want. But really, it's useful, I think, to stop and say, before you're eating something, whether it's especially just random binge snacks, like stop and just breathe for a moment and ask yourself, is this what my body really wants? Because right now, and I was just having an epiphany, I was eating a bean sandwich, okay? All full right now. A bean sandwich, okay? Literally, it was beans and bread. Little to no seasonings, even on the beans at all. I was hungry, busy, I'm trying to work out, trying to clean the house, yada, yada, yada. The thing is I'm not sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, this is so bland. I wish I had a big steak. I think a lot of people think that's what vegans do. They think it's about willpower, and it's not. When you have good reasons, you go vegan. It takes willpower at first, it really does. And it takes a lot of learning, and then once you get into it, it doesn't take any fucking willpower at all, because it's how you are, it's what you believe in, and it's who you are. And I think it's really going back to who you are as a child, because children, if left alone, if raised and not forced and told to eat animal products, they're never going to pick up a chick and eat it. They're not going to pick up a rabbit and eat it. It's just not what we would do. They're going to naturally eat fruits and different things. So naturally, we don't want to kill animals. If you ask a little kid and tell a little kid, most of them, if you're like really honest with them and don't sugarcoat it about what it is, they're not going to want to eat meat and animals. And so my point, and what made me make this video, is when I was sitting there eating this bean sandwich with nothing on it, and I wasn't super starving. I was hungry. I knew I had worked out. Of course, I always get hungry after a workout, but I had eaten right before the workout, and I'm hydrated, and so it wasn't like, oh, I'm so hungry, anything is going to taste good. This was just like a normal feeling like, oh, I need to kind of eat at this time because I don't want to eat later right before bed, so I'm going to eat now. And yeah, it was not the best thing I've ever eaten, but does everything we eat need to be like the best thing we've ever eaten? I mean, does it really need to be that way? It tasted great. I would probably eat more if I felt so inclined. I don't. And I think that's one way to kind of, maybe if you're a binge eater or eat too much, a lot of times it's like, well, binge eating is a whole nother story, because real binge eating, it mainly comes from calorie restriction and then the natural, after effect of that. So obviously if you eat steady meals throughout the day, then you're not going to have that problem nearly as much or at all. So, but just eating, if you have something that's not like overstimulating to your taste buds, it's not as much of a factor of like, oh God, I gotta keep eating, I can't stop eating. It's like, okay, I've had enough, I'm good. And life goes on. And, over the past few years, my holidays have really gotten very minimal. And it's, again, I've done a video like all on that. It's not that I don't like treats. It's not that I don't get cravings. It's just that on a regular basis, like, I am totally satisfied eating some of the most simple, healthy foods. Totally satisfied. I just want everybody to know that. Your taste buds are fluid. They change so much. So, when you start eating food and when you start eating healthier and healthier, your body actually wants more of that healthy food. And then you get to the point where you're like, ew, the old food that I had, you might taste it and be like, ew, you realize, your taste will totally change. Or, and here's the other part that's really important. Even if you have, let's say, a food, for me, something like Daya, mac and cheese, or Gardein, that's not the healthiest, that I, don't necessarily want as much of. When you eat these types of foods, normally, and let's say you're a meat eater, and this is about the meat, and you can't go vegan because your taste buds are more important than the environment and the animals and everything else, the people that are having, traumatized by working in slaughterhouses and all of this jazz. and you don't care about your health either. So let's just say you're eating meat and you're like, oh, this is the best, thing ever. I can't deal with this. And then a lot of times what happens is people eat, a lot of their favorite foods, their favorite rich, healthy foods or rich, unhealthy foods. And then they feel sick. And this can happen almost immediately. And I get this way a lot less now. I just want everybody to know, like, as a vegan, rarely ever have that feeling. And I used to get it every single day. Used to eat lunch and it would get really full. And then I would just have an afternoon slump and lots of IBS problems and all of that. But besides that, immediately after I would eat the food, really tired, and again, it can happen on certain foods still if it's got to be higher protein, higher fat, and a mixture like of fat and carbs, and eat a lot of it. So then I can still get that feeling, but it's nowhere near as bad as it was whenever I was not vegan. So here's the thing. People are like clinging to their meat and dairy and all of this stuff that makes them feel like shit almost immediately. And here's the thing. If you don't buy into veganism or vegetarianism, you don't research, if you don't know, you are not really gonna probably be paying attention. I mean, I used to think I was so healthy and this and that, and I knew everything, and it was like, I didn't realize how meat and dairy were affecting me because I was eating them every day. Pretty much they were lumped in with everything else. And it's just not until you do like something like an elimination, until you do something like an elimination diet, you won't really know how you feel because you're eating so many different foods together. But really, here's the thing. You eat these unhealthy foods and then almost immediately you feel like shit. Feel like shit, and then in the future you're going to feel like even more shit and have hospital bills and all this stuff. So when you're eating a plant-based diet, it's not about, willpower, eat shitty food, inevitably feel like shit because you're missing out and eating unhealthy, you're eating healthy, tasteless food, and then you can live forever and then die old after everybody else or whatever they think, It's not about that. It's not about something in the future. This is about the fucking here and now, okay? This is about how I feel. Obviously, before even vegans now, I mean, we know we're doing the right thing for the environment, for our health, for people, for the animals. It feels great. Beforehand, it's fun. It's easier to cook. It's so many benefits. And then you eat it, it tastes great to you, to me, tastes fucking amazing. You get to eat more of it, and then you can stuff yourself, guys. I've gone to Mongolian barbecue, like one of those places where you go get all your vegetables and stuff on a plate, and then I've eaten 4 plates. 4 plates. Usually I do 3, but one time I did 4, and that time I did feel kind of like, for a little while, but not too long. But usually when I have 3 plates, fine. I might be like, I'm full, but it's not uncomfortable at all. So it's about like you're able to enjoy the food, and then as soon as you're done, feel better. And then of course you get to look forward to down the road, not having all of these issues that come from meat and dairy. And you guys, over the next few years, you're going to see more and more. We got more hospitals. People are like, keto this, keto that. It can lose weight and help with these biomarkers. These biomarkers are bullshit. And I guarantee you, you can have cancer or you can be on crack or cocaine and lose weight, and your biomarkers in certain areas are still going to get better. It's the same thing. You lose weight in any way, shape, or form, your lab tests are going to be better. That doesn't mean anything. You still have an underlying cause of diabetes, switch on for cancer, heart disease, number 1, is meat, dairy, eggs, cholesterol, yada, yada, yada. So, do you want to contribute to those for your taste? Which actually, again, you have to look at the whole picture, because I think we're trained, honestly, in the society to be very self-indulgent, of course, and we have come to like put our taste buds over everything else, and that's even over how we feel the very next second. It's illogical. It's fucking crazy. So, try it out. Go vegan. If you miss Veganuary, try February. I don't know, whatever you think. Give it a try and do it longer than like 2 or 3 weeks, because, the detox factor is real, and that might kind of skew your feeling a little bit if you're having, you know, some gas or some pains or, you know, whatever else you may be having, as detox symptoms are very, very widespread. But it doesn't logically make any sense to prioritize your taste buds over how you're going to feel the very next second. It just doesn't. And that is when you realize that you're addicted. And that is, it's like drug addicts, you know, meat eaters, people who eat animal products are like drug addicts. They know it's bad deep down. Everybody knows, you know, everybody knows. But they think it's going to help them, you know, feel good or do something. And it's like, not so fast. You know, a lot of people just very confused out there. And anyway, I am going to finish this bath. And yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions, comments, of course, concerns, or any other topics that you want me to cover. And don't forget to find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, Pinterest, and KlaireeBerry.com if you want some good science and stuff like that. So, okay, take care. Don't forget to eat your fruit. Bye.